Hey. Hey guys, how you doing? So this is going to be episode 3. I want to give a shout out to David Alvarez for coming on. He's a real estate broker and he has his own business that involves with real estate, which you're going to see. I want to say thank you again for coming, because I know that no one's really used to just doing what I'm trying to do, or they probably do it but on a bigger scale. And I'm sick, so I'm trying to get better, because this week I wasn't able to get nobody on. I didn't do nothing. I didn't want to do anything. You can hear it in my voice. There's a lot of phlegm and I'm trying to get better. So one thing that I want you to know, or want you to see, is this right here. This is gonna come on later in the video, like towards the end, somewhere towards the end. He's gonna explain it to you, but the way that it resonated with me more is when I wrote it down, because he had me write it down, the words, and then an arrow to the next word, and then an arrow, and he explained to me what he'll do in this video. But if you wanted to get an idea, like when you're doing it at home, and thank you for watching now, and thank you for watching if you end up going to the end, towards the end, is this. So the words, just put an arrow towards your thoughts, then another arrow towards your feelings, and then another arrow to decisions, another arrow to action, another arrow to habits, and then the last one will be character, or your destiny, or your future. The last one, it can be yours whenever you make it your own and put your own spin on it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I'm getting a little bit better with just asking more questions and trying to be less uncomfortable in front of the camera, and just being able to be myself, because it's something that I have to get used to. Everybody has to get used to when they're in front of the camera, or especially when they're not used to doing it. So enjoy. Okay, one more thing, okay? I had another problem with the audio in this video, so I wasn't able to attach the audio onto the video. So just in this video, and I'm going to try to get it so it's only just this video alone, that you're going to hear the audio just coming from the camera only. So it's not going to have a good quality on here, which that I want, because I know I don't need it, but like I have high expectations for myself, and those are my standards that I put myself to, like make sure it's all good, and not that it's perfect, but you know, just it's good for me, I think. So that's the one thing that I kind of like was a little disappointed, and I still wanted to just be able to put it out there, and for whoever wants to grab it, they can catch it, and because it's valuable. I think it's a lot of information on this video. Is pretty, you can take it onto your life. And
bro, so good to be on here, man. Thank you for the invite. Let's start with that.
Hey, you're welcome, man. So we got David on, the realtor. And what's your business?
My business, man, where do I start? I'm in the business of people, helping and serving. But yeah, I help people buy and sell homes, and we can go more in detail, but in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Oh wow. And what got you started into like getting into retail or real estate? My bad.
Real estate, man. Well, the story goes like this. When I was 17 years old, I was give or take about 4 months away from graduating high school, and my aunt, she's like, "Hey man, why don't you read?" Well, she didn't call me man, but she was like, "Hey, why don't you read this book?" And that book, some of you may have heard about it. It's Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and I mean that book has been around the world a long time, probably at least 20 years, I think, or more. And I read it back in 2004. So I read it. That book really like taught me the basics, the ABCs of just wealth building, and just how the rich get richer and why the poor get poor, and just the mindset and all that good stuff. And one of the big things he emphasized on there was real estate investing. And so that was like the beginning of it, sparking my interest in the whole world of real estate. And then my aunt, who her and her husband are to this day brokers of a company down in Diamond Bar area. Then her husband, my uncle, was like, "Why don't you get your real estate license? You're going to graduate high school, you'll be 18 soon, and you know, you can get your license and start doing it part-time while you're going to school." I mean, my uncle, he made it sound super easy, right? But at the same time, I was like, I didn't know any better. Sure, why not? Let's do it. So he encouraged me, he helped me out to sign up for classes, to get the right courses, the 3 courses needed to qualify for a state exam. Took the state exam the first time, failed it, second time passed it, and I did it, passed it after high school.
Damn, how old were you?
That's a short version. I was 18. Dang. So I was 18, and then getting in the process of taking my state exam because I passed the courses. I failed it the first time, and then I passed it in November of 2004. I was still 18. I was like 5 months away or so from turning 19.
And you had told me that you got help, right? Or that never happened?
Which part?
Like the test.
Oh yeah, man, dude, I hate to admit it, okay. This is terrible. I can't believe I'm admitting this, probably.
You don't have to. We can't.
No, it's too late now, dude. You already...
We can edit that part out for sure. That's why I wanted to say.
Who cares? Like, okay, put it this way. I'm a broker now, and I passed that test legitimately, and I freaking studied, so I have peace of mind that I am legitimately a broker, okay? Alright, so here's the story. First time I failed the test, I forgot what I get. It's actually on record there if I look it up. Probably got like a 50-something% the first time, so I failed it. And the second time, this was back when, in 2004, now just to give you perspective, if you go take a test now, well at least the last time I took my broker's exam, you can go on the computer, right? I mean, you each have your own place where you sit down to take your test. Everyone, pretty much no one can see your screen, and you're taking the test on a computer. So it is basically impossible to cheat or get help from anyone. Well, back in 2004, they were still doing the written real estate state exams in California. Okay. In other words, like for some of you that are in school, I'm assuming you guys still do Scantron testing.
Yeah. Right?
It's something like that. Okay? So you had a physical paper, you look at the questions, usually A, B, C, D, and then you pick the best one, A, B, or C, D, whatever. Fill in the Scantron, and you would turn that in. So during that time, you know, I mean, perspective, I'm 18, super new and ignorant, so I studied to the best that I understood, and then I took the state exam, and at that point I'm taking the exam and I'm like, okay, I feel like I got a couple of answers, but then all of a sudden I was like, I have no clue what this one is, I have no clue what that one is, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's frustrating. I know some of them, but I don't know some of them, so it's like I went into panic mode. Well, I was sitting next to, I remember it was an Asian girl. I'm pretty sure she was Asian. And not that I'm stereotyping anybody. And I was like, man, I wonder if we have the same state exam. Well, to this day, I won't know for sure if we have the same state exam that day. But all I know is that I was able to see her Scantron a little bit. And I just started copying whatever I thought was her answer, could be mine. I ended up passing the exam, so...
So you just took a risk by just...
I took a risk because I got frustrated because I already answered the questions that I knew, but then I was like, I'm stuck on all these that I don't know, and it's either kill time on stuff I don't know or take a chance, because at that point it was just either I do it and still guess, or I do it and hopefully she knew what she was doing and hopefully it was the same exam. Well, if it was or wasn't, I passed.
Is the test... Like,
to clarify, when I took my broker exam in January of 2015, my real estate broker's exam, I studied 100% me. I took the test. It was on that computer like I explained to you. No cheating, no nothing. Like, I am officially a real estate broker.
Okay.
Can't believe this guy made me admit this crap, man. Whoa. This is like a hidden secret I was planning to take to the grave with me. But apparently it's not going to go to the grave with me.
You told me when you first met me, that's why I'm like, alright, well...
Yeah, I shouldn't have told you.
If this is out, that's why I said, like, I didn't say you did it, that's why I was hinting, like, oh, do you want to say that or not?
You see how he set me up? Never coming on this whack show again, man. Never making me confess garbage. Alright, go ahead, keep going, man. What else you want to dig up? What other trash you want to dig up, bro?
No, I'm sorry. We can edit that part out.
You like the FBI, bro, digging stuff up, man.
We can edit that part out.
You don't gotta edit nothing. That's cool. I'm over it. I did it. I repented. I asked Jesus for forgiveness. I moved on.
Alright, and so for the test,
yeah,
is it like being on the field? Is it the same thing or it's completely different?
I wouldn't say it's completely different. It's just that the knowledge you need for a test is understanding real estate law in general. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of details in real estate law and practice in California. And the state exam, at least for a sales agent, not broker, I believe is like 150 questions. I think broker was 200 questions. They want you just to have an overall grasp and knowledge of real estate law and practice. And when you go out to help people, like real world, like, hey, I'm going to go find a client, help them buy or sell, that does come into play because you don't want to break the law for sure. But working with people, it's more about how do you create a rapport, how do you create trust, how do you connect with people, how do you really get in their shoes to understand what they need to accomplish, and how do you show them that you're the right man or woman that's going to get the job done. So at that point, real estate law and practice isn't like the highest priority, although it's very important behind the scenes, doing the right contracts, negotiating legally and all that good stuff. But when it comes to working with people, I mean, at that point, it's 100% sales.
Like psychological?
Yeah, like knowing how to work with people, knowing how to connect with them on a deep level where it's like, hey, I want to work with this guy because I know he understands what I want to accomplish. I know that he's going to help me.
People skills.
Yeah, people skills, 100%. So at that point, it's like A, B, C, D. It don't mean jack at that moment. Like at that moment, it's do you know how to communicate effectively?
So you need to have the people skills to get them to even want to buy, and then that's when you use everything that you studied for, and you can like close the deal.
Yeah, and to add to that, to pass the test, just know the real estate questions in general, and know the knowledge you need to pass the exam. But just realize that when it's time to go to work and go find clients to help and serve, at that point, it don't matter how much real estate law you know and how great you are. At that point, you got to develop people skills. You got to have a servant's heart. You got to come with understanding how people could want to be communicated to.
And did you have that skill before you passed, or have you always had that skill of learning how to talk to people, or you learned it after, like by trial and error, selling homes?
Short answer is I thought I did, in the sense that whatever I knew at my early age of 18 years old. However, as I got into the business, I realized how much I had to learn. Like, there was so much more to learn. I've considered myself someone that genuinely is interested in connecting with people, that wants to help and serve, but I didn't have the right understanding and framework to really help and serve people. So as I got into the business, I realized how much I didn't know, and that's what really sparked such a huge motivation in me to want to learn. Like, how do you really help people? How do you sell effectively? Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions about this business is, oh, you have to convince people to buy or sell. Not really. You don't have to convince people, because it's like saying, do you have to convince a sick person that's really sick to go to the doctor? You don't. If they're sick, then what they're looking for is, hey, where is the right doctor that can help me get treated or help cure me? So one of the biggest misconceptions is that they think selling means persuading, and not necessarily true. Selling, by my definition, just by doing it for so many years and learning from different coaches, seminars and trainings, I boiled it down to a real simple concept. True selling is teaching, serving, and solving. You got to teach people. You teach them what they don't know. You serve them, and then you help them solve their problem, whether you are going to help them solve it or you guide them in the process. And that's what true selling is. And when you can master that at different stages, I mean, your income will never be the same. You'll never have income problems.
And that's the one thing that you taught me when the second conversation or the third conversation that we've had, that there's two things written on every person's forehead.
Oh, yeah.
Help me solve my problems and make me feel important.
For sure.
So when you learned that, or when did you learn that? Who taught you, or when was it that you figured that strategy or skill out?
Man, I want to say about 10 years ago, I learned it, or I learned the overall concept of it, but that I really started like making it as an important part of my approach to interacting with people. I'd say it's been the past 3 years where I really started putting it to work more and more, and just realizing that we all, including myself, at different levels in life or stages or needs and wants, we all have that invisible sign on our forehead. Like anyone we meet, and on their forehead, imagine that it says, hey, make me feel important. And then the second thing is, help me solve my problem or problems. Because at the end of the day, we all want to feel important or honored, like that we matter, and we all want to solve something in our life. It could be something small, something big. So whenever we approach human beings with that idea that, hey, how can I help this person solve one of their problems, or how can I help them feel important? I mean, the doors are open to you.
Yeah, because for the most part, of me spending time with you and hanging around you, like your your philosophies or your strategies of how to deal with people, it's not like in disguise of being sneaky. It's more like actually trying to help families, actually trying to help people find their home instead of tricking them to buy the home, and then once you get the money, like, you're done.
Right, because one of the biggest things that I didn't know in the beginning that I learned as I started getting more experience in the business is, if you put money above relationships, you're going to lose in life, because money flows through relationships. And I think that's one of the biggest lies that sometimes can be taught, whether it be in a specific movie or sometimes interaction with certain people that don't have the right concept of money, is that money is just an idea. It's not real. And so the concept of money, it flows through relationships. It flows through the trust we build through people. And that's where money flows. And so when we really come from a heart of a servant, a heart of love to help people solve their problem, in this case specifically a home purchase or a home sale, when you help solve that problem, the money's going to be there. But if you emphasize a relationship, now not only do you earn the paycheck, but you also get the opportunity to now have a voice of influence in that person's sphere of influence. What do I mean by that? If I help you buy a home today and you're 100% happy with what I did, my first win is I helped you and you got what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
My second win is I get compensated financially. I made money,
yeah.
right? My third win is if I genuinely delivered on helping you get what you wanted, and you got the results you wanted, not perfect, but you got great results, what do you become for me with your friends and family?
Like a network tool where you
an advocate.
Or an advocate, okay.
You know? Yeah, network tool. Basically, when people say, hey bro, I heard you bought your home, and you're gonna be like, yeah man, boom, 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 boom. It's a great home, but I got it. And my realtor David helped me, and dude, he was so great. So he said, well, I've been thinking about buying a home. Dude, you gotta use David. You see, and that's when people sometimes fail to realize that money flows to relationships, because that vote you gave me for that person, that family member, now has authority and weight to where if they were thinking about buying or selling, your trust that you have built with that friend or family member that you recommended me, now when I show up, there's already trust that you helped me build without me even meeting them. And that's why I say money flows through relationships. So if back to your whole thing when you shared with me initially that you said that's something you've noticed, is because that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned, is that sometimes when you're hungry and you got what they call in our industry commission breath, and it's real easy to put money above people.
Okay.
But you're going to hurt the relationship, because eventually someone's going to get let down, they're going to get burned, and although you made the check, that's the last check you'll ever make with that person or that person's friends and family, because they're not going to recommend you if all you put emphasis was on the money.
And you lost like 10 to 20 people that could have been networked to you.
100%, because everyone, I don't know the exact statistics, so I'm not going to pretend like I know the exact statistics, but it's safe to say we all know at least 100 people. So if you help 20 clients and they each know 100 people that they interact with in the next 2 years, that's a 2,000 person network that you could have had access to if you'd done things right. And if you didn't do things right, you don't have access to them. If you do things right, that network of 2,000 people now becomes a place where you get recommended and introduced to.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's the power of decision and the power really of effect. Like every decision you're making is affecting the relationship for the good or for the bad.
When you said like movies teach you wrong, I know for a fact I experienced that when Wolf of Wall Street came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, it was a good movie.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's got some crazy scenes, right?
It is. It's funny. But just how Leonardo, like, he just shows you, like, okay, money rules everything. And at that time, I was working in sales, selling makeup, Mica Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched that, it was just more like, all right, I need to scam these people out of their money and sell them the most. And I remember, like, my sales dropped, and I was upset because I'm like, I'm getting motivated watching each what is it? The scene where he's hyping up like the whole firm.
Oh, yeah, they go crazy, right?
Yeah, like I'm getting motivated too. Like, I'm gonna go to work and sell, and then I just never end up selling good because it was just more focusing on the money. And then what changed my sales and when I started noticing I was selling more is when I believe like these products are actually gonna help the customers that I'm stopping and selling. And that's when I started selling a lot more because I cared and I knew like, okay, if this person likes it, they're gonna come back and they're going to tell their friends. So I kind of figured in a small aspect, I figured that out where like to network with people and just be nice to people and just care. And when you care and you believe what you're selling and you know like this is going to help that person, then it always comes back to you tenfold.
100%, man, because at the end of the day, I mean, people also look for a good connection. And when people sense that you're just doing a high pressure sell and you're all about the Benjamins and all about the money, that you're gonna repel the majority of people. I mean, I don't want to sound corny, but when we operate from a position of true love at its core essence, like if you really, 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 really want to know how love looks like, the expression of ultimate love is the willingness to die for someone else. Like, that is maximum love, right? Now, I ain't trying to die for no client right now.
Yeah.
But if we take that context of love and we just use 50% of that perspective in helping and serving other people in what we do, whether it's our product or our service that we want to deliver to them, people will genuinely want to work with you because they know that the way you operate is from love first and everything else is second or third. You know, the money, the paycheck and all that. And when people know you have their best interest, then you'll get questions like this. Hey, Andrew, what do you recommend? Hey, Andrew, what do you think we should do on this situation? Oh my gosh, when someone asks you something like that in any sales, you know what that person just really said to you?
Like, I trust your judgment.
100%. You have the power to influence, and that should never, never, never be treated lightly because you are, depending what it is you're selling, I mean, it could be makeup or it could be, you know, real estate purchase, but and that's what I say, depending on the magnitude of that purchase, you can literally direct the destiny to a whole other direction. And so you want to make sure that you honor the fact that that person is giving you the privilege to help them decide.
And dang, I don't even know what. So for you, what do you consider yourself, as a realtor agent or a broker? Because when I first met you, on your car it says like you have a magnet on your car, or what is it?
Oh, the we buy houses in condition. So that's an investing strategy I use.
Okay.
The part he's talking about is on my car. There's a logo that says we buy houses in any condition, and so that right there is just strictly when we pretty much buy homes from people that want to sell quickly. And the reasons can be several. Sometimes it's just a death, a divorce, drop of income, behind payments, almost going to foreclosure, the house is too beat up to destroy, they don't have money to fix it, to sell it for top dollar. So that strategy is in investing. But yeah, I am a licensed broker in the state of California. So I do have a function as a broker where I can help other people buy a home or sell their house. I can do that and represent them. But the one you saw in my car, that's an investing strategy. That's me and an investment group where we help people buy a home off of them if they want to get basically out of it soon, or it's just needs too much work, they don't have the money to repair it. I mean, the list can go on. Basically, it's people that usually are facing some kind of hardship that they need an out sooner rather than later, and they don't have time to work with the realtor to list it and fix it and make it look all nice because they don't either have time or they don't even have money, or both.
And what's the difference between a stockbroker, or no, sorry, a real estate broker and a real estate agent?
Well, okay, so a real estate broker.
For the people like
Yeah,
who
for
are
sure.
watching this.
Yeah, real estate broker is someone that has the license to sell and help sell and buy to the public. They can help the public buy and sell real estate, and they can represent them. An agent can also do that, but they must be licensed, or they must place their license under a broker, because a broker is responsible for that agent's activities. Make sense?
Okay.
So it's almost like saying like the broker is that supervisor boss that oversees the agent's activities. So an agent can do those activities, but under the supervision of a broker. The only way that agent can do it on their own without any other broker supervising them is them qualifying and then passing their broker's exam, so they can do that without the need of any other broker supervising them.
So the broker makes money off of whatever the agent sells?
Correct.
Because they're using their name?
Their name, their supervision, their education, their technology, their tools, whatever it is, they're doing that.
Okay. And so you started your own business, or?
I did. I started my own real estate company technically 7 years ago in April of 2012.
Okay.
And then I became my own broker, independent from any other broker. I didn't need no other broker supervision, officially May of 2015. So I passed my broker's exam in January of 2015. And then once I got my paperwork processed and approved, they allowed me to, what do you call it? Operate independently with no other broker, May of 2015.
And what made you decide to be a broker instead of an agent?
Where do I start?
You can start from the
In
beginning.
the beginning, I was just ready to fly my own, ready for the new adventure, the challenge, and I knew in my heart before that I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to be forever under another broker, because my plans were not to be under any company, no matter what big name brand they had. It's just my goal was to operate on my own.
Okay. And what's your business called?
It's called Nisi Agents.
Okay.
And then the property management that we have in place is Nisi Properties.
What is property management?
Property management is when we help owners that own rental property, whether it be a single family home or apartment building. We help them, basically, we do the landlord work for them when they don't want to do it, whether it be because they live too far or they just don't have the time for it. And so we're the ones that are the face of the owner in collecting rents, making sure the property is being managed. Like if something goes out, we make sure stuff gets repaired and done. We send out someone to go take care of it and things like that, and we basically become the hands and feet and voice for the relationship between the owner and tenant.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you remember selling your first house?
I do, 100%. Yeah.
What was the feeling?
It was definitely surreal, because I remember when I first started, I didn't know any better but to just dial a bunch of phone numbers in the neighborhood and just talk to owners and see if they were ready to sell or interested in buying. And I remember when I made that call, I just remember them saying, yeah, we're interested in selling. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a yes. Like, they're interested. And I was just excited that I got a yes on the phone. But then the next step, I'm like, okay, come back down to reality. Like, I got a yes on the phone, but that means I have to go meet with them. So I took my mentor back then, and she went with me. And sure enough, we got the listing. Beautiful home in Upland. And I still remember the street name. I believe it was Havenhurst. And that was where I sold my first house, $640,000.
And you made what, if you can, if
Yeah,
you feel
sure.
comfortable?
So on that one, the commission was 6%. We kept 4% for our side, for between me and my mentor. So 4% of 640. Here, I don't want to mess the number. So
the mentor doesn't get more of a profit? You guys eat?
No, the mentor, we split it 50-50.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But not all mentors do that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. So between me and my mentor, we split 25,000.
Each, or half of that?
Half of that.
Okay, so 12?
Yeah.
50?
1250, give or take.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to split the 12,500 with the broker. Make sense?
Ooh.
So it was a nasty cut. Now imagine if I would have been my own broker, about that whole 25 G's would have been mine. But that's not going to happen when you first start. You're a rookie. You got to pay your dues. You know?
And the mentor has to do the same thing?
Yeah, the mentor is basically on the file with you on the contracts, because they want to make sure, well, at least with this company that I was with, they wanted me to make sure I was doing it right.
No, but the mentor has to also give the broker...
Oh yeah, whatever the
half?
split of
Okay.
the mentor. It was a she. She would split with the broker.
Damn, man. So being a broker is like, that's where you want to be at. Is there anything higher than a broker?
That's in terms of real estate sales and representing the public. Real estate broker is the highest. And if you want to call it by tier, but yeah, that's the one you want to be.
On the top of the pyramid. Or you would say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. I never knew that part where it goes like up the ladder.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
What's the craziest story that you've had like at an open house?
Open house, man.
Or do you feel comfortable even like? Are you?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Now you gotta make me think. I gotta research.
Well, because I mean, I know this is gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I don't know if you want to say.
Oh no, that's no big.
All right.
I already shared my.
Like, I don't know if it's confidential. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no. If it's confidential,
Okay.
I'll just change the names or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, so no big deal on that. Craziest thing that happened at an open house?
Yeah.
Man, you got me there. Let me see. Craziest thing.
Well, think about it and then. So, what's the most expensive house that you've sold, and how hard was it to sell?
Just home alone. It's just a home sale because I've sold higher price, but it was not a home. It was commercial.
Or
home.
and that too. So we'll do home and then commercial.
So commercial 1.15
million?
Yeah, 1,150,000.
As a broker or agent?
No, agent.
Okay.
Agent. As a broker, I sold my highest home sale was 800,000.
Okay.
Price point. Yeah.
And what was the commercial? Like it was a building up here in Victorville?
It was in Hesperia, and not Victorville, Hesperia on Main Street. That was the commercial one. And then let me see, the commercial one. I just remember staying on top of the file, making sure the buyers performed according to the contract. But yeah, I don't remember those transactions being difficult.
Dang. Back to the mentor. I remember that.
Here's an interesting story about that $800,000 home. It was actually a sad story. The reason they sold, even though that home could have sold for way more, because it was two big homes on one lot.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about big homes, 5,000 square foot home, and the back house was like 2,300 square foot home. So it wasn't like small homes; these were big homes. The previous owner unfortunately had committed suicide.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like when buyers found out that was not my buyers, although of course we told them, but other buyers when they found out that happened, it was just like, nah, we don't want to buy it, even though that home was worth way more than 800 grand.
So, if there's a suicide in the house, all the agents and brokers, they know that house is not going to go for more than what it is?
I wouldn't say they know. It's just typically when it's a death on the property. One thing is to die, like when people die of natural causes. Another thing is like when you hear that the story was a suicide.
Okay.
Some people just have a certain stigma or perception that if it's this type of death or that type of death, they might not want to. They don't like that idea, and it's true. I mean, at least in this case, it was true. Most people that when they found out there was a death and then they found out it was a suicide death, they just didn't want to buy it anymore. They weren't interested.
Yeah. So you made the decision to sell it low, or they're the ones that offered?
Well, in that case, I represented the buyers.
Okay.
Those sellers had already dropped the price significantly. I think they started like at $1 million in the beginning, but no one was interested at $1 million. Probably because of the story, the situation of the suicide. And then eventually they dropped it until they dropped it to like 825 or something like that, 825,000. And then my buyers ended up making the offer at 805. They accepted, and then it finally closed after inspection. They had a couple of things they renegotiated, and it closed at 800,000.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Back to the mentor. For your mentors, you have to. It's not free, right?
No, it's not free. Well, like my first mentor wasn't free. She got 50-50 off of the deal.
Well, it depends. So. No. I mean, like, depends for like the mentor, like life mentors.
Like life coaches and all that?
Friend mentors and then coaches. That's
oh yeah, for sure.
Coaches?
Yeah, like coaches. Yeah, well, it could be life coach. It could be a real estate coach. It could be a health coach, fitness.
So
coach.
which ones have you had?
I've had mainly real estate coach and one life coach.
Okay, and those ones aren't free, right? Or cheap?
They're not free, and yeah, usually not cheap.
Because I remember you told me that you had to pay for it, and I was like, wait, what? For a year?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! It was a trip because when I hear mentor, it's like, okay, my friend is just talking to me, or
yeah, like that
someone
old
older
uncle
than me.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That, you know.
And then when you told me that, I was like, whoa.
Like, I do have friends that are much older than me that are like brothers or mentors to me, and in that case, if it was mainly, it started as a friendship, then more than likely it was a friendship mentorship, and we kept it that way.
Okay.
But with no specific like agenda, like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk every week, we're gonna talk 3 times a week, 2 times a week, and we're gonna report back. Nothing like that. When you're working with coaches, there is an agenda and there is a calendar to follow where it's like we're gonna talk every other week or every week, once a week, twice a week, and there's specific activities that you're being coached to do to measure and then check your production and then focus on that.
It's like a fitness coach, which is
like a fitness coach, but focused on real estate production.
Damn.
Mm.
That's crazy. What else? What else would you like to say?
Man, what else would I like to say? Well, I think we left one question out. What was the question?
What's the craziest thing you've experienced, like at an open house or just in retail? I mean, real estate in general.
Well, I'll touch on the open house, and if I think of another thing in real estate, I'll bring it up. Open house, I wouldn't say specifically one thing, but I think there's been sometimes different things that have been kind of hilarious or crazy. I think the experience of an open house is sometimes when you do an open house and there's like way too many people showing up at once. That's always a nightmare because it's like you can't answer everybody's questions. People are coming in and you don't know who's where and who's that, and so that's been kind of frustrating and scary because it can get chaotic if there's way too many people showing up at once. Like when you have a group of like 10 different buyers walking through and it's like, holy smokes, where's everybody out?
Yeah.
What's everybody doing? That hasn't been the common, but it has happened, so that's been pretty crazy to handle all that. And usually I do my open houses by myself. Most realtors, they do their open houses either with another realtor or like a lender. I don't. In my case, the way I operate, it's more effective, the way I interact with buyers, by myself. Yeah, so that's been like the crazy. The other craziest one is when it's been like extremely windy, and then you put up signs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! You can rest assured, you're either A, gonna lose signs that day, or B, your signs are gonna fall and no one's gonna see the signs that day.
So I have a question because I've always wondered. So where do you guys go to like a factory for those signs that you leave on the corners, or do you guys go to a specific place where they like refer you to, like the real estate places? Mm-hmm. Where do you guys get the signs, or where do you get them made?
Like a printing shop, you know.
Okay.
If you have your logo, you have all your info, whatever it is you want to put on there, you take them to a print shop, whichever one you like to use, or you trust, or you've done business with, or you were recommended to, and then just, you know, you create the concept you want to get printed, and then once it's done, you print it, you pay, depending on what kind of material you're going to use, the quantity of signs you're going to order, and you just pay, and it gets printed out, and then you use those signs and you put them up. You can do it yourself, or you can hire someone else to do it. In my case, to this day, I still do it myself. Yeah. It's not that hard. I don't put too many signs. I just put signs in the strategic corners.
And they're the simple ones that just stick in the ground. Because I know, because when you allowed me to shadow you, that I was surprised when we put them out. And I noticed, like, damn, like, these are actually, you have to put your own money. It's not like they give them to you and you put your name and the phone number. And you have the ones, like, just the metal ones that stick in. So ever since then, like, now that I'm driving, I'm looking, I'm like, oh, damn, there's an open house sign?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking it was messed up. I'm like, man, I wanted to take that sign and then I could put yours, just give it to you. And then I'm like, no, I can't do that because that's someone else's money. But
Realtor
like,
Wars, I just get it, yeah.
That goes through my mind. I'm like, I can just go take that sign. They're always right there. I mean,
yeah.
No one's going to know, and no one would care, like, if they would see you just taking that sign, because they would think that you're helping either the realtor or...
Yeah. No, but between realtors, most realtors are super respectful when it comes to signs and all that. No one's really going to take them. Maybe there's a hater or two out there, but, you know, to this day, I really haven't had too many issues with people stealing my sign. I've been fortunate enough.
No, because yours are just like two metal things that are just stick in the ground.
There's you just stick them, and if the dirt's hard, always bring a sledgehammer so you can hammer it down.
But there's the other ones that have like
oh, the little like wire, like more like, I know what you're talking about.
There's like a metal one and like
those are cool, but they're really tough to put in the ground when the dirt's super hard.
Oh yeah, well see, you do a dirt, like the ones I see like are on sidewalks, like
like if you put it on grass,
okay,
oh, like nothing, it goes in, especially when the grass gets watered and the sprinkler system. Those are easier to put in.
What's the one thing that you want to look out when you're on the field, or the things that the people that you need to worry about, or the types of people that are red flags?
Red flags?
Snakes in the grass.
Snakes in the grass.
Or all the characteristics, or just like the.
Well, one of my standards is I only work with highly motivated buyers and sellers. In other words, they really have a need or a want that they want to accomplish. I don't work with unmotivated people because usually if they're unmotivated, it's because they're really unclear yet on what it is they want, or they really don't know what they want. And so there's something there that's not causing them to move forward because it's not happening. And so their lack of motivation is going to frustrate me. It's going to drain my time, my energy, my money, my focus when they're not ready to be helped because they don't want to be helped. So I definitely stay away from unmotivated clients, which is why whenever I meet with someone, for their benefit and my benefit, I always do an initial consultation. And in that initial consultation, it's about 10 minutes long. It could go longer because sometimes they'll start having more questions about just their home or real estate in general. And like I share with people, the first 5 minutes about me, how I work, how I can massively benefit them on what they're trying to accomplish, whether it's sell their house or buy their next home or both. And then the second 5 minutes is just me. I ask them 7 really simple, cool questions. And those 7 questions will help them know if they should move or just stay put, stay where they are and stay where they live. And it really helps them get clarity if they don't have it, or if they do have clarity on what their plans are, it helps me also get to understand what they want to accomplish so I know what it is I need to help them with.
Okay. And you would give all your success to just in your belief with God?
I would say definitely, your faith is extremely important. Your faith in God.
Because it's easy for you to make those first sales and then you get just I don't want to say manipulated, but with other realtors and just we're going to make all this money, and you didn't allow that to take you over. You allowed to just be balanced. Or from when I met you, you were probably different when, 10 years ago when you were 19, 20?
Well, when I first started, I definitely was more money hungry. Now I'm more purpose hungry. So in other words, money is definitely going to be a huge part of the equation because without money there's no mission or a completion of mission. You need money to make stuff happen in this earth. There's no way you're going to fill up your tank with purpose or love. Your gas tank if you're low. You're going to need money to do those things. However, at the core of yourself, I would say, what's driving you? Is it only money, or is it your purpose and mission? If it's purpose and mission, then the money's always going to follow behind it. If it's just money, you might make money here and there, but eventually it's not going to be money that's going to be truly a blessing for yourself and others, and it's not going to be money with the purpose. So I definitely say purpose and your mission and what it is God called you to do on earth. I really believe that when you can build off of that, the money and the provision's always going to be there.
Okay. Oh man. Because that's why I feel like most realtors that don't have that spiritual, I don't want to say most, but some, they probably just go down the wrong how you say it, the wrong path, just to focus on money, and then some of them do become successful, and then they start planting more seeds, other realtors, and then it just becomes a greedy thing.
It can be there, it can happen for sure, and that's why I think that one of the best things anyone can do, and it doesn't matter if you're a realtor, if you're any person, it don't matter what title in life you hold or what it is you're trying to accomplish, but I really believe that every person should develop a right relationship with what money is for you and is not for you. Because if you understand what money is there to do for you and how it's there to serve, and you have that right relationship with it, then that's where you go back to what I was saying earlier. You learn how to put relationships above the money and not money above the relationships.
Well, what are the ways to practice, for people who, because it's easy to hear it. No, it's to express it, and it's also easy to hear it the first time and then be like, oh yeah, that's right, and then you forget about it the next video you watch on Instagram, or
for sure,
when you leave your house. And then, but what's a either an advice or a tip that you can give
Mm-hmm.
that we can go look and actually or practice with ourselves?
Super simple. Simple to do, sometimes not easy to do. And I realize not everyone that's watching this is Christian. I am. But the principle can still be practiced, and that is tithing, or giving 10% of your income towards a charity. In this case, I give 10% of my income to my local church.
Okay.
So for every $100 I make, $10 goes to my local church. Because I believe in the mission that my local church is doing, the people they're reaching, the way they're helping people in their spiritual walk, their life. And so I believe in that mission. And when you give 10% of your income, really what you're doing to yourself and what you're doing for others, it's huge. Like, it's a huge impact because, number one, you're putting the relationship above the money. That's like, immediately you're doing that. Number two, on a just a practical level, your income, if you're giving it to the right charity, you're causing a good around the world. Your $10 might seem insignificant, but $10 from every person adds up and creates an opportunity for that charitable organization to do something significant in the local area or around the world. So something practical, I believe you can do that, because that teaches you how to operate with 90% of your income to where now it's like you're disciplining your soul, your mind, and your heart, and your perspective to understand that money is not going to rule your way of deciding all the time. Because most people make decisions only on money. In other words, wherever they offer me the best job, wherever they pay the most, I'll be there. How high do you, it's like jump. And then they're like, how high do you want me to jump? Because they're making decisions only on money. And so when you start doing that 10% charitable giving, it starts teaching you that money is an important tool, but it's not the most important thing in life. It's a tool there to serve you, not there to master you.
And that's one of the lessons that you teach, right? That the three, the personal life, business life, and finance life.
Yeah, so one of the things that I love sharing and teaching is, that's helped me, and that's why I love sharing and teaching, is, in life, many times people give so much emphasis to a career that they build their life around a career instead of building their life around the personal life they want to have. Now, that's not to say we shouldn't work. No, we should work, but there's three areas that I think are extremely important in your life. Spiritual is one of them, but for now, this conversation, I'm just going to touch on these three. Personal life, business life, financial life. Most people design their personal life, like what it is they want to do, where do they want to travel, what do they want to meet. Yeah, their passions, their joys, their stuff that's cool and fun to them. They usually will do that when they have time. And usually that goes around the schedule of their business or career life. And then their financial life is usually determined by their career or business they decided to have, right? And that's how they build their life. Because if they only make $100,000 a year, then they decide in life that they're going to make decisions based on that $100,000 a year income only. It's not bad or good. It's just, these are facts. Like, these are stuff that human beings, we all go through in life. So what I'm saying is, if you do your personal life, if you design your personal life first, that puts you in a position of power, because now you're putting yourself in a position to say, okay, how can I make this happen? What kind of business or career life should I be building, growing? Who should I be helping? What kind of product should I be selling? What kind of service should I be delivering to the humanity in order to create the business I want, to serve my personal life that I want with my family, myself and my family and God. And then your financial life, that's the income you want to make. So let's just say the personal life you want in the next 3, 5, 10, 25 years, we'll just focus on a 3-year goal. Let's just say in the next 3 years, you want to make $1 million in the next 3 years. When you start opening that kind of conversation, now you start asking different questions. Now you start asking questions like, how can that be done? Who do I need to serve? Who do I need to become? What skills do I need to develop? What mindset do I have to take? What habits do I have to get rid of and replace with new habits to create a business plan or a business life that will give me $1 million but will still give me the personal life that I want? And then now that I'm clear on the financial life I want, which is $1 million in the next 3 years, because that's going to help me live the personal life I want, Now the questions start changing. And the questions start changing, you start getting different answers. When you start getting different answers, now you're given the power to say, well, I put this to work because now I have some answers.
And what I learned from you that changed my whole aspect of life and time, when you showed me that if you want to work 5 days out of 52 weeks for the year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
52 weeks.
So Monday through Friday?
If you want to work 5 days, that's going to be, and how many hours do you want to work in those days? If you want to work 80 hours within those 5 days, that's 40 hours. And then you showed me on your, or give an example, like let's say you want to make, like what you did to me, $100,000.
Oh, okay. So for example, if let's just say that you're, like right now, you're designing a personal life that in the next 3 years, we'll do a 1 year goal, we'll say in the next 1 year, you want to do so many things in your personal life, and it can be, I don't know, I want to travel 4 weeks, and I want to go here, there, and there, and I want to be able to live comfortably at this place and all that. And it's going to take $100,000 a year to create that 1 year dream of yours to support the personal life you want. And financially, you're clear that it's going to take $100,000. So financial life, I need to make $100,000 to create this. So now we got to go back to the drawing boards of your business life. How does that look like? How many hours do you need to put to work? So sometimes we just got to do basic math to really get clear. And when we start getting clear, you start getting better sense of direction on where you need to invest. And that helps you what to say yes to and what to say no to. Mm-hmm. So an example would be $100,000 a year is what I want to make.
You can get closer.
$100,000 a year is what I want to make. And let's just say you decided that out of 52 weeks in a year, because there's 52 weeks in 1 year, I want to travel 48. I want to travel 4 of them, and I want to work 48 weeks. So that means 52 weeks. 4 of them goes to personal life of fun stuff, and that doesn't mean that you don't have fun during your work weeks. You do, but I'm just talking about an example. And out of the 48, you're going to have 48 work weeks where you're actually going to work your business plan to make $100,000 a year. So now we go $100,000, divide that by 48 weeks, because that's what we committed to working that year to create that personal life.
Yeah.
That means every week we gotta make sure you're making almost $2,100. Okay? $2,100. So now we're like, okay, that means every week I need to create I need to be doing the activities that are gonna generate that kind of income. I need to make sure that I'm doing the activities that are gonna put my product or my service in front of people, the right kind of people, to generate these types of transactions to make $2,100 a week. But then we can get even more clear. Let's just say you're like, I only want to work 40 hours a week. Actually, you know what? I don't even want to work 40 hours. I want to work 35 hours a week because I have kids and I want to be at their practice and be able to coach or whatever. All right? So now, $2,083, I round it to $2,100. Divide that by 35 hours of working in 1 week. That means your hour, it's like $59.50. We'll round to 60. That means your hour, your work hour is worth $60 an hour. What does that do? That helps you get super clear to realize, okay, is what I'm doing right now a $60 an hour activity?
It puts it into perspective, like,
yeah. So now you confront yourself to realize, you know what? Maybe right now is not the best time to watch the Netflix series. I'm not saying no to the Netflix series. I'm just saying, if right now I made a decision to work, then watching this Netflix series during my work hours is not the best decision because it's not producing $60 a week, $60 an hour.
Yeah, and that
$60 an hour is going to eventually produce the $2,100 a week. And that $2,100 a week is eventually going to produce the $100,000 in a year if you're putting the right work into the right business plan. So that kind of clarity, it really helps people start focusing on the right activities.
And then another thing that inspired me too is your schedule that you had, your Monday through Friday.
Oh yeah.
If you wanted, you can
sure.
show them.
So like, when you're working a schedule, well, using the same example, like if you're like, hey, I'm going to work 48 weeks out of the year, one of the big things is, assuming you're already clear on what kind of business you have or what kind of product or service you're selling, like super important is to have a work schedule. Like when I work every week, I know what my routines are. And so that's my work week. Like every week that I work and I'm not traveling or I'm not taking time off, I know what I'm supposed to be doing Monday through Saturday.
Yeah, because when that was the first day, this is the first day that we met, when you showed me that, alright, when I seen this, I was like, damn, you really have everything planned out from 5 in the morning all the way till 9 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me, okay, from 6:30 I wake up, like every day, like I'm gonna be here on Monday at the gym. So before I seen this, I was just like, what the hell? Like, you can have a life like that? I was thinking before that those are people that are obsessed with just being OCD, or that it's just, how do you say, what are the people, just like that, how do you say it,
Go ahead, spit it out, we'll figure it out. Right?
Yeah, anyways, I didn't understand that this was possible, even to be successful. I thought it was just like people that have
just weird people.
Just weird people, like, okay, like I need to have it at this time, like people that are organized and that are just preppy, I thought.
Yeah.
And then when I seen this, it opened my mind, like, damn, like you can actually spend your time, and it changed my life when I did this, because then I made my schedule when I had my job, and it helped me a lot because I was actually sticking to the routine.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the things is that when you start getting like ultra clear and aware of where you're spending your time, where you're investing it, you now start taking back your power. You stop giving it away towards foolish things or other people that may not be deserving of your time because they're not valuing it. So yeah, like having a structure is, if you want to make a pretty good impact to yourself, to your family, to the people around you, having a structure, a calendar, a weekly calendar is like inevitable. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be in place and be respected and done.
Yeah, and then the one thing that I want to end off, because I know like it's almost time, if you can share with them, when you taught me that the basic, what was it? I don't want to say, the philosophy of, that you told me that not when we were at Starbucks and we were talking, you said that 90% of people in this Starbucks doesn't know the concept of your thoughts turn into actions, and then your actions turn into decisions, and then what you take in becomes your thoughts, or what is it?
You want to break it down right now?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. So what I was sharing with Dan,
I still have it written down. Sorry, I still have it written down.
Worry.
Like it's always been in my mind, and I always took it because you explained that this involves with music. It involves with things that you're watching, the people that you have around your life, the things that you take in just listening to, or how you're talking. Like it involves with just this one concept by itself, and that changed my life.
Yeah, like this is a revolutionary concept because it did the same for me, and that's why it's another thing that I enjoy sharing, because if you really grasp the concept of this, like at the core of it, what it means, how it can be put to work in your life, I mean, you can genuinely take back power where you thought you lost power, or you are going to give birth to power in you never thought existed in you, that was always there the whole time. And what I shared with them was these 8 simple steps that I learned. This was probably about a good 11 years ago, possibly, that I learned this. And the way it gets broken down is everything around us is either invading us or we're permitting it. And some of us are doing it consciously, or we just don't even know that it exists in our surroundings. But when you become more aware of this, like, you're going to definitely be more in tune and aware of your surroundings, your atmosphere, the things that are being said around you, the music you're allowing to come and filter through your ears, through your eyes, the words you're continuously saying, how you talk to yourself, how you talk to others, how do you talk to the world. All that is going to definitely start taking more importance in your life, because you'll be a lot more aware. So what are these 8 things? So the way the breakdown goes is, it all starts with words. Words are foundational to a person's life. The Bible talks, and I think the book of Romans, it talks about that faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Well, Faith comes regardless of whatever faith, religion, background you believe on. Words are either going to inspire you or they're going to destroy you. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. But words also come in through to you in many ways. The music you hear, the shows you watch, the conversations you have with your friends, the conversations you have with your siblings, with your teachers, with anybody. As long as it's a human being, you're having a conversation and words are being exchanged, words are causing an impact in you, an influence in you. So the first thing you want to write down is words. Words that you constantly hear, you constantly speak, you constantly see, and you're meditating on, that begins to produce the way you think. And so now that you're meditating on certain ways of certain concepts and words, the way you think is going to begin to develop the way you feel. Now, feelings and emotions are two different things, although they're very similar. Emotions are, and I want to clarify this so that way you really understand this concept from this day on. Like, trust me, after this, your life you'll never be the same, you know?
I know.
So emotions are those things that, like, if Andrew were to be standing by a stranger and a stranger hits him hard, I mean, his reaction is probably going to be angry, scared, frustrated. That's like an emotion because that's a quick reaction, right? But if Andrew is constantly thinking about how, man, you know, he lost this over there 5 years ago, he could have had an opportunity here, but he threw in the towel, so he's always thinking about those things and how he beats himself up over it, that's producing feelings in him. Make sense? Feelings are more long-term. They're more rooted in you. Like, those are the things that's why people start saying stuff like, I'm just not an exciting person. Or I'm just always happy. That's just me. Neither one is wrong in this conversation that I'm having, like, as an example. But that just goes to show you that when you consistently think about, your feelings start producing that essence of who you believe you are to be, right? Mm. And that's why you hear conversations like, oh, dude, I'm just never going to change. Like, I'm always going to be moody. I'm always going to be upset. I'm always going to be negative, or I'm always going to be this, or you hear stuff like that, like, oh, I can't change. That's just me. That expression, to a certain degree, can be true, but it's true because we've meditated on that for so long that those are the feelings we're producing. So words produce the way you think produces how you feel. Hopefully we're all clear and I explained myself well on feelings and emotions, right?
Yeah.
And then how you feel begins to start directing your decisions. The decisions you start taking on a daily basis. Should I work here? Should I not? Should I date him? Should I date her? Should I marry him? Should I marry her? Should I move here? Should I move there? Should I have kids? Should I not? Should I forgive? Right? All that. Now the decisions start happening. Because of the way we're feeling, we're starting to produce decisions in our life. Words, thinking, feelings, decisions. Then after we make a decision, now we're tapping into territory of, after we make decisions in life, we start taking actions behind those decisions. And then behind those actions, because we're going to start making usually repetitive actions, usually many times in life, we're starting to decide specific things over and over. They just show up in different time frames of our life. Now we start seeing the actions start repeating themselves in different areas of our life. We start not working out, so then that action starts taking effect of not working out. Or we start working out, we start seeing the action of working out, so we know it's starting to go in place. Well, the more we take action on that decision, which was produced by the way we feel, which was produced the way how we think, which was produced by the words we're hanging out and meditating on, now that action starts turning into a habit, right? And then now when you tap into territory of habit, you become a slave. Hopefully, you and I became a slave to the right habit. Because if we didn't, then that habit now owns us.
Yeah.
So when that habit kicks in, now it's like, holy smokes, we're like on autopilot. And that habit is now so ingrained, and that's when the expressions start kicking in. I can't change. This is just the way I am. This is just my lot in life. This is just the way things are. Because the habit is in place. The habit in how you think, the habit in how you act, the habit in the things you do, the results you get. But then here's the crazy part. Now that habit gives birth to the character, our character. our character, who we really at the core start believing who we are, what we can do, what we can accomplish, who we can reach, who we can influence, who we can help, or who we can help, and the list goes on. Now we're tapping into our character, who we really believe we are. Because that's the vote that counts besides God's. But who we believe is super important. Then after character, because now we're operating in this whole cycle, right? From words, thinking, feelings, decisions, actions, habits, character. Now we're operating in that whole concept of just what we've been creating and developing. Hopefully it was the right words and not the bad ones. Now we're creating our destiny. And then before we know it, we're living what we're living now because of all these things we've been cultivating. And it all started with the words. The words we've heard, the words we've seen through pictures, motions, interactions, the words we say, super powerful. I mean, I can teach on sales and the importance of getting a client to speak so they understand what they're saying. That's how powerful words are. And so it all started with words. Some of it was invading you, and you didn't even know it. Some of it is because you've been permitting it. Some of it has just been hypnotic. Sometimes the beat's cool. You don't even know what the words are saying. But the beat is so cool.
Yeah.
But the words are hypnotic.
And
because behind the beat, you're enjoying the beat. But your subconscious mind, which is like a whole other level of conversation, right? It's still active. It's still working.
Like sad music, that's when you start thinking about it and then make the decisions. Drug music, like music with drugs, you start doing the same thing and just breaks it down. I'd say the easiest thing, like if someone is watching and takes this down, like just write the words like what you did to me. Like you did the word and then put the arrow and then the next word and then put another arrow and then the next word. So like words, the thoughts, the decisions, and then just keep going, just make the arrow so then you can actually see it when you write it down yourself.
So you can see the sequence of how each thing gives birth to the next thing.
Yeah, and then...
So I really hope that helps. That's helped me tremendously. Apparently Andrew really enjoyed it too when he heard it the first time. So I hope that helps because now that you've heard this and you're like, okay, hey, this is crazy. This is new stuff I've heard, or first time that someone put it that way. Hopefully now this will really be like something that wakes you up in a sense where it's like, man, I'm going to be more aware of my environments and my interactions with people. The words I'm saying, the words I'm hearing.
It's been an hour, man.
Has it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Does it feel like it?
That was
I
like
know,
quick.
we're tired already. It's 9 o'clock.
Quick.
So we're just going to end it here. Finally, I get a proper ending because the other videos, like, we either had to cut it short or we had to just leave it, like, last minute. So I finally get to end it. I'm kind of proud of that. For you, you can tell them or your Zoom app or what is it called? Because I keep trying to...
They can just do the Instagram handle. And from there, they can follow all kinds of stuff.
So you can just say your Instagram and I'll just put everything on the link. So
for sure, it's at David_N like Nathan _Alvarez ALVAREZ.
And then you can go ahead and follow him and you just... What? Is it every Thursdays?
Every Thursdays, I'm doing specifically a real estate teaching class for those that are interested in becoming a realtor, selling real estate. You don't have to be in California. I can teach you the basics to get going. And then after that, if you're interested in more personal coaching, we can talk about that too. But the Thursdays ones is 100% free.
All right. And then...
6 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, 6 a.m. 6 p.m., my bad. Did you want to say anything else before we close it?
I think I said enough. Hopefully you enjoyed whatever it is I shared with you guys.
Well, I hope I can bring you back on, honestly, like... Because then we can, the second time you can come back on, you can talk about whether if you want to go more in depth with what we talked about or if you want to go more like the new stuff because I know you are moving.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
So you won't be in this. There's nothing wrong with this.
We'll have to do another interview in the next setting.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, but I like it. But you'll be a whole different, you'll be completely different. You'll transcend into something else just by moving in your house.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, brother, for having me.